Hello, everyone. Good morning. I see all your comments on here. This is like my favorite part when I see all the highs coming in. Hello to all of you. Diana, she says, so happy to see a fall scene. I'm so over the 90-degree weather. Oh, I bet in the Bay Area. Yep, for over a week. Hopefully it's supposed to be cooler today. You know what? The leaves are officially turning, so it's time. It's time to get some orange and red into our project. So that's what we're doing today. Beautiful autumn weather in Illinois. Oh, I bet. I bet. Hello, Elaine. Elaine is on from Albany. Good to see you on. Lori, hello. Got my order in for throwback. Yay! Awesome, Lori. Hello, Marla, welcome. She says this is first time attending. So glad to have you, Marla. Welcome. Okay, Mary Ann is here from Ontario. Hello, Linda. Carol, good morning. Good morning, Carol. From Netherlands, hello. And Carrie Lynn, hello. Good to see you on, Carrie Lynn. Mary, Barbara, Carol, hello to all of you guys. I am just, you know what? I'm ready for fall. And I'm not ready for cold weather, but I am ready for fall. And I thought it would be really fun to take something from the Woodland set that we just released and maybe make it fall theme. So that's what we're doing, you guys. That's what we're doing today. We're going to do a fall theme. And it's been a while since I've done a scene with lots of things in it. And I sort of have it's sort of a love-hate thing with those because they're so fun to do, but I don't want to scare anyone away. And I also don't want you to feel like you have to have 900 sets in order to make a project. So I just kind of throw them in here and there because I do like to challenge you a bit too. But, honestly, it's with these projects that require, a number of stamps and a little more thought, the process itself isn't hard when you just kind of break it down piece by piece. The intimidating thing is when you just look at it and think, oh my word, I don't know if I can make that, but you can. You totally can. I'm going to show you today that you can. Super, super easy. Just takes a little bit more thought. Did I see Roberta on? Roberta is from Orlando. She still has power. Oh my word. And I'm sure all of you have been thinking and praying for these people in Florida. It's on my mind constantly. I'm just always checking the news to see what's going on. Heartbreaking, terrifying. I can't imagine. And so many people just feel like they can't evacuate, even if they're in an evacuation area. So we are just, praying for these people so much that their property would be spared, their lives would be spared, that this storm would just blow over quickly. So good to hear, Roberta. We have a number of people that are, that follow us, that are on our lives, that, are on a number of the Art Impressions groups, the AI Way and the Art Impressions stamp group that are from Florida. So all of you, if you're watching, we're thinking of you, we're praying for you, and just can't imagine what you're all going through. Yes, but God is mighty. That's right, Roberta. Absolutely, He is. He is. Tony, good morning. Good morning, Queen Bee. Good morning from Washington. Hello, Kristen. Marianne, project is good for masking. Yes, it is. That's the thing about these projects. If there's anything that's a little bit more complex about it, it's that they require a little more masking and a little more selective coloring when you're going to color these stamps and stamp them into your project. But honestly, once you get all of those pieces in, putting all the flowers, the foliages, the colors, putting all of that in is pretty simple, really. It's pretty simple. Okay. Lori says, finally had the excessive heat warning lifted. Oh, will only be 102. Oh my word. Lori, oh wow. That is still blazing hot. We are probably in the low 70s now, if it gets to that. So it's really starting to feel like fall. And here, in Oregon, it's just, when the fall leaves turn, it's absolutely beautiful. And so we just, for me, especially when those trees start to turn so beautiful, and then you just kind of hold your breath for the rain to stay away, because once the rain hits, all those leaves come down and they're just bare trees. So we always just kind of, wait for the rain to just hold off a little bit so we can enjoy those beautiful colors. Okay. Yeah, Stephanie, purse for all Floridians. Yep, exactly. And it looks like it's just going to hit the entire state. Just unbelievable. Just unbelievable what's happening. Okay, it was 50 this morning, 70, at 7:30. Oh, wow, Mary. Hello, Sheila, welcome. Yes, and North Carolina, we can't forget about them either. You know what? Once these disasters pass, it's sort of out of the news and people forget. So we need to be reminded that, this is devastating it's going to be devastating for years to come. For these people as they rebuild. But, I've heard, over and over that those people who are from North Carolina are extremely, they are so, what's the word? I keep thinking of residual, but it's not. Resourceful. They're so resourceful and they just will not give up. They're really strong people and they are, have a lot of determination. I just really admire that. And I just, I think they're going to come back and they're going to get their places rebuilt. And we're just praying that is what happens. Barbara says, so excited for this project. Okay, you guys, are you ready? Did you see all the sets in the beginning? I tried to lay them out so you could see the SKUs on them. And, if you don't have them all, it's totally fine. It's totally fine. There are lots of things that you can use in place of what is, actually in our project today. So let's get to it. It's super fun. And I'll show you what we're going to need. All right, let's switch back over. And let me move some of these things out of the way. And I will show you what we're going to be using from these sets. All right, let me just clear off my area, you guys. Clear everything out of the way. All right, so let me zoom in a little bit so you can see what exactly we're using and see the project up close. So this is it right here. It was so fun. It's always fun to go to a new season. It really is. And, fall it's just so beautiful because the reds come out, the yellows, the oranges, the pumpkins, you guys. I love pumpkins. I just love them. I love painting them. I love putting faces on them, which of course you could turn this into a cute little Halloween scene too, just by putting little faces on there. Sandy, sitting here in the hurricane. Oh my word, Sandy. Wow. Okay. You're going to have to keep us updated while we're on right now because I'm sure it is crazy. What part of Florida are you? And are you away from the water? That's the big question. Zilla is on. Hello. Beth from upstate New York. Welcome. Simone. Hello. Simone, you too? Are you in Florida? Oh my word. You guys, you have to keep us updated. We're on pins and needles with you. We really are. Okay. So here is what we're going to be using in this little project. So we're going to start out with this. And this is what sort of started the whole thing, was this little cart. And I think it's so cute. It's really kind of handy. And you can see the size of it here. It's pretty good sized. And I just inked the cart only and I left the gifts out of it. And I think it's really, really versatile. And I like to be able to show you that you can use these things other than what they're shown here. So it's shown with these little gifts in it, and it would be really cute for a birthday also. A birthday, obviously for Christmas, which is the set that it's in, but you can put anything in it. And, even a little Christmas tree just covered in snow. Wouldn't that be cute in it? Just, when I went to stamp it on here and I thought, I'm just going to turn this into a fall scene because that's kind of the opposite of what's shown here. But while I was doing it, I was thinking of all these other ways that it could be used. And I think a little Christmas tree, so a little fir tree that's kind of at an arc, kind of laying in here with, all of our snow that we put on it, and maybe a cute little wreath, over here on the side of the little cart. And I think it would just be so cute. Amy, how lucky to spend more time with me. Okay, you guys, who was on me for how many hours yesterday? Starting at 8 a.m. we had Bible journaling first thing in the morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time. And then right after we had throwback at 10. And here I am again, you guys. Are you tired? Are you tired of me yet? We have been jumping around, seriously. From Bible journaling to, the crazy critters, little carolers from throwback, and now to fall. So we're just all over the place. So you guys are going to be on overload for instruction today. Anyway, I love this little cart. It's super simple. It's really, really easy to color. Val says, okay, yay. Never tired of you. So kind. Thank you, Sharon. I love the queen bee. Me too, you guys. I love time with you. Love it. Obviously, because here I am again. Okay, so what I'm saying is, keep an open mind with these things when you are using them, because they can be used for so many different things, different ways, and different things that you could put in here. Little critters would be really cute, little sleeping cat in here. Of course, florals for spring. You could put a little pot with tons of flowers on it. So it's just a cute little cart. It's a really nice size. It's a really nice size because it will fit with other structures that you have. So this is what started the whole thing, the whole process, and then it just kind of went on from there. So let me kind of put these in order as to how to put this project together. So the next thing that happens is, here's what it looks like when it's all stamped. Look at the difference, you guys. This just amazes me every time. We're going from this to this. It's just the coolest thing. It's so much fun. And honestly, it's really, really simple. Really simple. So the first thing that I did when I created this is, and I'll go through the rest of these too, so I won't lose my train of thought, but I want to show you kind of the process of how I went through this whole thing. So the first thing I did was pick the size. And what I do is I just pick a rectangle that I feel like is a good size. And I'm looking at all the pieces that I have here. And I wanted to use this old barn. I haven't used this in forever. And I thought I want to drag out this old barn. I had to hunt for it. And I want to use this little cart. I knew that for sure. I wanted to use those two things. So I kind of looked at the sizes of these two, and I kind of landed on this size here. And let me tell you what it is. It is, honestly, it's not an exact size, but it's very close to 2 3/4 by about 4 inches. So 2 3/4 by about 4. And I always cut this first. I cut it, then I lay it onto my watercolor paper, and then I just draw around it. It's just, to me, it's the easiest way rather than trying to draw straight lines. I'm not good at that. Everything always seems to be a little cattywampus when I do that. So when I cut it like this, and I can measure it on my cutter, and then I know I'm getting the line straight. So I can put it on here, make sure, kind of eyeball it, make sure it's straight, draw around it. So that's my first step. And then we're going to cover it with Post-it tape like this. We're going to cover all around so that we're blocking off the outside. So we'll do that before we get started. Then the simple scene. So I haven't used a simple scene either, and in forever. So I thought, when I dug this out, I thought, you know what? I haven't used a simple scene. Let's get that out. So I got this out, and here, let me show you what it actually looks like, because it's kind of covered up by the cart. And what I do is, I stamp this in first. So once I got this done, I stamped this little barn in, and then I laid this in here so I could kind of see exactly where everything was going. And this is where I decided to stamp it. Now I've already had my mask in place. In fact, you know what? Let's just do it because it's probably easier to see it that way. Let's just do it because it's, sometimes it's important, the process and the order of things, how we do it to make it as simple as possible. So we're going to cover all of these areas so that, we can stamp off if we want to. And I didn't use the whole barn either. So I'll show you that when we get to that packaging. I'll show you that. So we're going to cover this up. Now, when we go to stamp this in, you can see that, it's going to go over the edge. So you can ink the whole thing. You don't have to worry about it. We're going to ink it in really, really light color, a really light grayish blue. So if it goes off the edge, it's totally fine, and it's masked, so it's not going to show. And the reason we do that too is to get this really nice like white border around it. It sort of makes the project look finished when we have that little white border around it. Now that's just a preference that I have, but you know, you can cut it, you can trim it up close too. Totally up to you. All right, so I wanted to fit my little cart in here. So I just, you know, I took the clear, and I don't have it with me, but I took the clear acrylic and looked at that too, and just kind of laid it on here and kind of decided where exactly I wanted to put it. So I decided to leave this part of the line off. So when I went to color it, and it's going to be the reverse, you know, I just left this part off of the stamp, and I colored it in this color. So the N52 or something similar, something really light, like a light gray, because most of the time we're stamping over the top. It's just a guide. It's just a guideline to tell us where the road is, you know, where the hills are, what the actual construction of the middle is. And sometimes this is the hardest thing to visualize, is the middle. We know that things are large in the front, you know, the foreground, things are big, and we know that things are smaller in the background, but sometimes the middle is a bit of a problem, is to try to visualize what happens between here and here. So these little simple scenes are really, really helpful in that way, because they can help you visualize what's going on here. Okay, so we ink them in a very, very light color, super, super light. So that was the second thing that I did, was ink the little simple scene. All right, so now that that's done, I put in my little cart, and I use the same two colors. So these colors that we use all the time, I use these for the barn, the 565 and the 969. So the blue first, then the brown, then we're stamping it off before we stamp it on here. Twice for the barn because it's rubber, once for the cart because it's clear. It's clear. All right, so now that we've got these two things in, you can put anything here. You could put a basket here, you could put rocks here, you could put anything that's larger, because you're coming forward and things are getting bigger as you come forward. So, you know, the easiest thing to put in here, and especially to get more color, is pots with florals. And so that's what I've got here. I've got some little mums in these pots, and they're just great for fall. These little mum stamps are they work great, and you can make them whatever colors that you want. So, and I just, of course, only inked the cart, not the presents that were in it. And if you get a little bit, you know, of a line in here, if you can't get it exactly right, let me just show you up really close. You see the tiny little lines in here? That's okay to get those in here. That's totally fine. I've got one kind of coming off the side here as well. If you get the blue in here, that's okay too from the pathway. It's okay because a lot of that will just wash out. It'll just wash out when we add color and water to it. So I should have zoomed it in this close, because that's really much easier to see. So I just put these two little pots in, and I'll show you how I stamp those too. So let's move this one to the side. And then this one, let's see, what's next here? The pumpkins. Let's go out a little bit here. The pumpkins. So next were the pumpkins that were in the cart. And I picked this one just because it's small from this set. However, there are other pumpkins that you can use. You could use this one from this set. And I think there's another one that has pumpkins in it too. So if you don't have this one, there are other ones that you can grab. This is the only one that I used in here. I just used the same one and just kind of piled it on, just using my masking tape and just, you know, piled them in there. You can make these different colors too. You could make them the blue and the white and add some of those colors into your painting as well. So always keep that in mind. Okay, what's next? So then we have the pots. So the pot, this is the one, actually, let me show you which one I actually used. This is the one that I actually used. Now, if you leave off this section This pot will be as tall as you want it to be. So always keep that in mind too. This, you can see how tall this pot is and see how short this one is. It's this pot right here. It's just that I only inked this side, and this side. And I left this off. Left this whole thing off. And then I just took my pencil and just continued the line. Just continue the line down. Now I have a pot whatever size I want. And I just picked this one because it was wider across the top, but these will also work. These little pots here will also work. You could use this one right here, and you could just use this section where it's going a little straighter. And then you can just bring that down, see, like this, and make it as deep as you want it to be. Okay, so always keep that in mind. You could use any of these. You could use a bucket. A bucket would be really cute too. So lots of different containers will work with this. All right, here's the barn. Here's the barn that I used, and I left this little overhang section off. I didn't think I really needed it, and I wanted to put these multicolored trees in here. And so I wanted just a little bit more room to add that in here instead of just the whole barn sort of taking over the background. So keep that in mind too. You can leave off these little sections, you know, right here, and then you've just got the base of the barn. And you just, you know, it's nothing to continue a line. It really isn't. So you could just take this line and just continue it, just like that, if you left this section off. And you're using a marker, so you're just coloring the parts that you want to color when it comes to this. All right, so that one, and then let's see, what else do we need? The foliage. So foliage is this one, the grass. So the little grass, we're going to use that. We're going to still use some green in here. You know, the trees are turning and pumpkins and all of it, but there's still green in here, and it really kind of brightens everything up. So just that little grass, we're going to be using that. This is the large one of these. We've used the smaller one. This is a large one from Flower Set 2, and we're going to be using this in these little pots. It's just a one and done, honestly. We're going to mask this off, and then we're going to color this 2 different colors, and then we're going to stamp it right into the pot. Just nothing to it. Super, super easy. And then this one, one of my favorites. This is I would almost call this a must-have, and there are very few sets I would say are a must-have, but this one really is because of the size of these things and the versatility of it. So you can see our trees in the background back here. Those are these little trees right here. So we've got these. This little foliage right here, I've used it so many times. It's this here. It just creates these little, you know, borders, little brush borders, and, you know, this look of, you know, crops next to a barn and a field. So it's just work. Look how cute it is in here. That's just so cute. This is just a absolute must-have. And then this little tree here. This is another one, especially when you're doing things like this and you've got to have small things in the background. This is a really, really good one. So we're going to use one of these. We're going to use this one, and then we're going to use this little tree right here. Okay, and I think that's it. That's all we need. That's it for this little project. So you can see, I mean, I went ahead and stamped it just because of time, but I wanted to kind of go through it all so that you understood exactly what I was doing. Mariette, hi from Miami. Oh my goodness, Marietta, how are you doing? Is it blowing in Miami? Now you're on the other side, but you're gonna get hit too. So all of our Floridians that are on here, keep us updated. Sandy says, I've used that foliage many times around the buildings. Yes, absolutely. It's so versatile. It really is. Foliage is set for the, village, right. Just the right size. Yes, Debbie. Yeah, it really is. It's just, and you can stack it so it's smaller. Obviously, it's smaller than this, but you can stamp it and then stamp it above and get another layer up here. So, what is the fence from? Pauline, the fence is from the bleed proof white, and we're going to draw it in. You guys, it is so cute when you put a white fence in. I'm just about obsessed with that. I love it. And the biggest thing about it is you have to have the right consistency of the white paint. So I'll show you that in a tiny brush. But putting in these little fences, they're so cute. And they just pop. If you have a lot of color behind them, you can literally put them anywhere. Absolutely anywhere. So you could also, we do have fences, also little fences. You could put a fence in here, you know, and they're just solid. So you could, you just stamp it in here with the dark color. But the magic paint, honestly, it is. It's like magic. I just love it. And truthfully, I have to find a place to put the white every time I make something. So a fence is just sort of perfect for that exact thing. So we will be using the white paint today. All right, so let's get going on this. Let's zoom in, and I'm gonna just see if I can fit my, this is always the tricky part, see if I can fit my palette in here and get this up close. Okay, let's start here, and then I may have to move things kind of out of the screen, but let's start here for now. All right, so everything is stamped in the two colors. So the pots, the cart, and the barn, except for the simple scene, which is this color, the N52, or it can also be just a gray, a really light gray, but you want to stamp it really, really lightly, really light. Okay, so I'm going to use my brush. I'm going to take my my number 4, dip it in the water, get it really saturated, tap it off, and then pinch it off so it's flat. Pinch it off so it's flat. From now on, only the tip is dipped. Only the very, very tip of it. So make sure I got my brush really, really wet. So let's start out with the barn. And you can see this has some pretty dark lines. So it's going to be really good to use as a rustic barn because it's got lots of colors. So we're going to start here. And then, you know, where the color is the darkest is always where I tend to want to start, is under overhangs like this. You know, inside, we're gonna create a door here with this one, and we're gonna create a little door up here also. Now you can leave these open. You could put something inside. You could leave it open, but honestly, it's much easier to just create a door. It really is. All right, and now for the little cart, we're gonna leave this sort of a rustic white. So we're gonna pull the color out of each section. I wanna be really careful because the lines are in the design. So that means we don't wanna cross the lines. We wanna use them for color, but we don't wanna cross over and blur those lines. And just kind of drag that color out. And the biggest thing is that you stay in each section. That's the key. Now we're going to come down along the side of that little kind of peg leg right there. And we're going to do the inside of the wheel. This inside right here. And you can see how that just changes the perspective of that wheel. Just adding the color to the inside right here. And this one kind of in the back side, it's not showing too much, so we can just kind of pull the color out just like that. It's going to kind of be in the background. Now we're going to also add some color to the outside edge of the wheel. And doesn't that just change everything? Just doing that simple little step. It just kind of changes everything. Now when it comes to the little pots, the shadow is going to be on underneath this overhang, this little lip. And you can see I kind of stamped over this one, and it's okay because it's gonna wash out. Marietta, for now is fine in Miami, thank God, but did everything, all the stuff from my balconies inside, charged all my lights and fans, have water, and have you guys, the AI family. We're here with you, Marietta. We're with you. We are 100% with you in support. Just can't believe it. All right, so now we're going to add some color. We don't really have to do too much with this pathway yet. I mean, we could pull some out and drag it into the path so we can kind of see where it's going. But for the most part, we don't really have to do too much with that. Got a little overhang here, and then this little section here is kind of hanging over of this barn. All right, so now let's start adding some color in here to our creation. So we're gonna get some color onto our palette. And I put a red roof on here. I just thought that might be really cute. I tend to always make a white barn. And I don't know about you guys, but I have these go-tos, and if I don't really think ahead, I just kind of make them all the same. So I'm trying to break out of those molds sometimes and, you know, try to do something different. So I thought, you know what, let's make a red roof on this barn. And notice all the white spaces on here. If you leave those white spaces, see how rustic it looks? It really does. And it's got lines in here, you know, to create that, you know, sort of rustic look. But if you leave the white gives you the impression that the boards on the roof are kind of lifting, because the light catches the edge, you know, of things that are kind of lifting up like that. That's why there's a highlight on the tops of things as well, is because it kind of catches on that edge. So it's really important to do that. It's such a little thing, but if you were to color this in solid, it would not look nearly as good as it does leaving those white spaces. Okay, now this is a little bright for me. So let me show you what color it is. Let's just use this. If we just use this color. So that to me isn't the color of a barn roof at all. It's too bright. Even if we did another pass and made it darker, it's still not the same. So we're going to add something to it. We're going to add some yellow to it, and yellow is in this 947. So we're going to add some brown. We're just going to add some of this to it, and it's going to change that color. And you can just keep adding it until you have a color that you like. So, you know, we'll mix a little bit of this in here, and we'll kind of look at it. And now we're getting a little closer to what this barn roof should be. And I think even a little bit more. Okay, that's starting to be closer to what we want. See the difference between that and this? Adding this yellow. And I actually think maybe a little bit more by the time we finish the roof and use all the red here. And just mix it and just keep testing it. Keep testing it until you get it. This is more of a brick red now. See the difference in that between this and this? It's more of a brick red. So you can easily change your colors. You don't have to go hunt for a marker that is a brick red when you have a red. If you've got a red and a brown or a yellow or an orange, something that has yellow in it, you can create this. You can create this look. And you know, sometimes it's just a matter of just testing it. Sort of like baking. You know, testing things out and seeing what is going to work the best. All right, so we're going to start now brushing this color on. And I really like this color now. Looks really good to me. And I'm going to just try to really make a point of leaving some, you know, white spots in here. And especially kind of on the top of the roof. You know, there's always going to be some sort of a highlight. And, you know, the more that you have of these little white spaces, the more kind of wonky the roof is. It gives you that impression that this is kind of an old, you know, beat up roof in an old rustic barn. So now we're just going to come onto the inside and get the inside of that roof. And then don't forget this little guy down here. So we're going to stay inside these little lines too. And you can always, so if you're adding this color onto here and you missed, you know, your little white areas, or you don't feel like you left enough, you can get it with your white paint. So the white paint will always come to the rescue. And you can add those little white areas in later. Okay. Step 1 finished, you guys. And now we're going to add some color to this barn. And we're going to just maybe mix a little bit. So this is the 969. And you can always tell if it's an older pen. See all the green in it? Now a new pen, and part of that is because I'm always using it with the blue. And it's going to make it grayer. A new 969 is really red. It's too red for me. And so when you start using it, especially when you're using it with the blue, so you're inking the blue over it first, and then right over the top, you're inking the brown, right over the blue. And that blue gets onto your brown pen. And that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. The reverse is not a good thing. So doing the blue first, and then, or doing the blue second, doing the brown first, and then the blue second, that's not a good combination, because it will turn your blue, your bright blue, into kind of a dull gray. So this is why we do the blue first. This is a huge reason why, is because it's good for the brown. It's really, really good for the brown. And it honestly, for the most part, doesn't really matter that much. You might be able to, and it does kind of matter what colors go on first. I mean, I shouldn't say that it doesn't matter. It kind of does, but it's worth it in the long run to just make it a habit of doing it this way. The blue first, and then the brown over the top. And unless you have a designated blue pen that you just use, for inking your basic image, then that's different. But this is what happens to it. It gets this sort of greenish, color to it. It really takes that red out of it. And it's a really, really nice color. It's actually the perfect color now. So, this is what I'm using on the door. So if your 969 does not look like this color, add a little blue to it. Just add a little blue to it and kind of mix that color a little bit, because it is pretty red when you first get it. Okay, so now we're going to add some blue. We're going to add some shadow in here. And you know what, you guys, I'm not put the colors down. So this is an 856, and a 947. That was the combination of these two colors right here. And then this is the 969. And then, of course, our blue, which is the 565. Okay, so we're going to add some shadow in here just along this side and along this side of the barn. This is in the shady side here, so this is going to be darker, even though the barn is white. In the shady side, and you can see how that just makes this look like this part goes back. Now it puts us right here. We're looking right at the angle, and we can see that this is the light part and this is the dark part. And it all creates that illusion of something being three-dimensional. And in here, we want to just get this little shaded area in here as well. And then we need our dark shadow under the overhang. So it's just a straight line that just kind of comes down like that. And it honestly, it needs to be pretty dark. And you can see how that just sets that barn back under that eave. And then we could just take a little bit of this and just put it under this little section. And we're starting to see this sort of come together. Now let's take the fine tip, so the twin tone, the brown, the dark brown, and let's do the windows. This one's pretty small, but we can get a little detail in it. We can get just a little bit of detail into that one. These over here, I mean, maybe we can get a little bit in here like that. That's going to work. And then under this eave, we're going to really darken this line and really drop that. Now we're just going to make a line kind of down the center and just put a little handle on that door. And this one, so this one, we're just going to come in here with the twin tone and we're going to make a little frame. Just kind of follow the lines of the frame that's in here. So it's got just a little bit of a kind of a wonky little frame and just kind of go over that. And then we're going to use our white paint and make something decorative. You can see that little X right there. We're going to make that with the white paint. So we don't need to do anything more right now with this. And then under here, this is pretty dark. It's going to be pretty dark underneath there. Okay, so now we can finish this up. We might as well just finish this little barn up, and you can see the details that I put in here. That's totally up to you if you want to do that. I think it adds a ton. And I just, you know, when it's small like this, you can just literally freehand it. And, you know, sometimes it's better that way because the boards look kind of old and rustic, and they're not all exactly the same, which is kind of cool. And you can make them so they look a little like they're just off a bit, maybe up here. We've got some that are just off, and then we can add just a line under here, and maybe we've just got one here. And we can come back in with our twin tone and really darken these little areas. And then, you know, across here. And, you know, of course, you can use a ruler. And you know what? I'm probably stressing some of you out just by doing this freehand. But, you know, it's not hard. It's not hard to do. And in the long run, honestly, it doesn't really matter. Now, we're going to run this line clear across here, and we want to stay with this angle. So I want to just stay right with that angle that's where this roof line is. So just stay right there. And you see how that just wraps right around that little barn. Linda, you are officially in the drawing. So if you would like to win this little painting, just put that in the comments because we give it away every time, and you could easily just be the winner. Now you could put another window in here if you want to. You could put 10 windows in if you want to. You can do whatever. And I put a couple of little ones up here. So that's just a matter of using your twin tone and putting in some little squares. I mean, just like this. So you can change this barn up just however you want to. And, you know, if you want another window here, I mean, literally, it's a square. It's just a little square like this, you know, about the same size, you know, as that one, and then just put your details in. And there you go. You got another window in there. So nothing to it. Okay, so I think we're good on the little barn. How cute is it? So cute. So let's come down and let's do the little pumpkins in the cart. Let's get those in, and then we'll just start doing the background here. Okay, so we're going to use this little pumpkin right here, and you know, you can kind of eyeball it. What the biggest thing is that you want to cover your cart. So you want to cover this. Now this side kind of goes off the edge. So we can just run that clear to the edge, and we know we have all of this space. We've got all of this space in here, clear to the edge. All right, and then this one, we have less space. So let's just put this on here, and we're going to just run this to the edge. Okay, so now we know we've got this space right here. And if you want to be able to really see, you can just run a pencil line, because you can always erase that so that you can see exactly where that cart is underneath. Elaine, you haven't had a chance to win yet? Oh my goodness. Get your, you got your comment in, so you are in the drawing for sure. For sure. Yeah, if you want to win this, you guys, just, you know, just say in the comments that you want to win it. You know what, let's just finish this up because this is bugging me now that it's not finished. So I'm just going to make a little, you know, line here. And, you know, these boards can kind of come down, kind of crooked. and just put a little line under them, just like that. We could have one up here that's just kind of coming apart up high. And you could just literally do as many of these as you want. Basically, it's just a little triangle colored in where the boards have kind of split, just like that. Okay, so let's get on to our little pumpkin. So this is rubber. So when it comes to rubber, if it's clear, you can pretty much see exactly where it's going. But when it's rubber, it's better to use a positioner, because we've gotten this far now and we're invested. Unless you do the cart first, and it's okay if you mess it up and you can start all over. But we've invested some time now, so want to make sure that we get this in the right place. And it's really nothing to just do it. So we're going to ink this just with the brown. So just with the dark brown, the 969. And then we're going to place that block right into the corner of the positioner. And now we've got that image on our acrylic block, and we can just say, okay, we're going to put it right here. Right there is where it's going to go. Now we put this back. And we've got our mask in place, so we're not going to stamp over something, make a big mistake. And now we've got that in there. So now let's do another one, maybe right here. This one's kind of sitting down inside a bit, and we'll just turn it. And we should still have enough ink on here, so we'll huff on it. And then we'll stamp this one in here. And now we want to put one maybe up here. So you can see what's going to happen. We're going to be stamping over the tops of these two. So we just need to cover them. We just need to cover them with some tape. And we'll just do that. I mean, it doesn't have to be fancy. You just got to cover it. So you're not stamping onto your little pumpkin. Okay, and we can still see where to put it. So let's just kind of turn it a little bit, and let's just put it up here like this. And I'm going to ink it again because I just want to make sure, we probably could have gotten another one, but let's just ink it again. And then we're going to need to stamp it off because it's going to be too dark. So you want to be sure to stamp it off on watercolor paper, not cardstock. Okay, that's pretty dark, so I'm going to do it again. And then I'm going to stamp it right up here. And just even pressure, so don't press too hard. Don't press too hard. Don't try to just mash it into the paper. Okay, so we've got this one. And you can see we've got a little open spot right there, so I'm just going to take my pencil and close that line and close this line. And I've got this blue line kind of running through there, but it's okay. That's not going to matter at all. Now we've got space here for one more. So let's just cover this one and this one, just like that. And then I think we can just probably fit this one right in here. Just guess. We'll just guess on it. Okay, so now this is stamped off on the masked paper, so that's not going to matter. We're not going to see that when we're finished with this project. Okay, so we've got all of our pumpkins in here. And now we can color them. So we're going to start out by just adding some water to them. Use your brush. And you're just going to pull that color. Now, these are little contours here, so they're going to be lighter. You see these little highlights, on the tops of these pumpkins. Really important to leave some kind of highlight on there. And especially kind of towards the top. Where that light's going to kind of catch. Okay? And then I'm just going to finish this little section because this is showing here. So I'm just going to add a little line to kind of finish that section. All right, so now we need to get some orange onto our palette. Scoot this over a little bit. We'll get some orange on here. We're going to start with the light one. So this is the 933. 933. And then we've got a darker orange. So this is the 925. This is a darker one. This has more red in it. You see how bright that orange is? This is the 925. And these are great together because they sort of mix up the color and give you a little darker area on here. Cheryl just popped in with a sandwich. New septic going in. Oh my, wow. That's going to be a job. Linda says, hope everyone's having a wonderful weekend. I'm going to play bunco. Oh, okay, I used to play bunco too, Linda. Too many years ago for me to even remember, but it was so fun. It was really fun. Okay, so now we're going to add our color to it. And you're always going to add the color to the darkest section first. Let's just zoom in a little bit here. Let's zoom in. So we're going to add that color to the darkest areas and then just kind of drag it over. So pinch your brush off and then just kind of pull this color over. And then you've got this, light area here. You've got these little light areas where the contours are. So we'll just keep going here. Get this one. And this one. And this is going to be pretty light to start out. Be pretty light, and then we'll, the more that we, more times we add color, once it's dry, the darker the color will get. And then this little guy down in here, we'll just get him, and this one's mostly just got a little highlight on the top. Okay, so, the biggest thing is not to, of course, color them in solid. Never want to do that. So now we're going to just go back over it again. And we're just going to add more color, a little darker. And just keep pulling that color off your palette. And then we're going to just add some of this darker color now. So this dark red, this is going to go kind of where the shadow is going to be. So kind of down at the bottom, of the pumpkins where it's going to be the darkest. And then anything that's kind of in the background. And it's going to give you a little more color combination on here. Okay, and then we're going to come in with the twin tone, and we're going to get these stems. So I'm using my, my little fine tip. And to color these, you're just kind of making, little lines like this. Just kind of follow the lines that are on here. You can kind of see how they go on the pumpkin, and you can change them up a little bit so they don't all look the same. So maybe we have this one that's got a little bit of a hook on it. So then it doesn't look exactly like this one over here. And you really don't have to be, careful about it. You just want to get some darker color in here, just like this. And then just kind of continue these little lines just a bit down in these creases of the pumpkin. And then in here where these pumpkins kind of come together, where it would be really dark in these corners. Okay, and now we're just gonna take a brush and just go over this color just a little bit. Don't want to lose all the texture of it, but just kind of to blend that color a little bit, just like that. And now we're going to take some of this blue, and we're going to make this kind of the shady side over here. And we're just going to darken this part of that little card. See how that just changes everything? I mean, it really does. And then we're going to darken inside the wheel. And then the outside of the wheel too. That a little darker on that leg. And then we'll just put a little shadow kind of under this lip, and that will look like this is kind of an overhang here. It just kind of creates that look. And then we can make it look a little bit rustic just by adding a few little things. So you can see there's a little crack right here. Just like that. You see how that just changes? If you add just a few more little lines in here too, anywhere you have, a gap is going to make it look like it's kind of aged. And then, inside the wheel, especially kind of at the top up here, that's going to be pretty dark up inside there. See how that just changes everything? And just kind of down here too. This wheel, this one back here is, it's in the background, so it's going to be just a little bit darker back in here. So cute. So cute. All right, so now let's get to our little pots, and then we will get to our background. All right, so we're going to add some color to the pots. Let's just do that first. So we're going to use some orange, just like we did on the pumpkins, and maybe a little of the brown. So this is that warm brown, so let's just put a little bit of this on here. And this is the 947. Anytime you can have kind of a mix of color, it's just a win. It's a win for sure. So we're going to start by adding, again, where it's the darkest. And that's, going to be on the edge. And see how this one kind of comes forward. It's in front. And then we're going to pinch it off, and we're going to just drag it to the middle. So just like that, and then we'll take some of this brown and add some of this into it. Take some orange. And then we'll get this part. And always just, it's just a win always to leave white spaces. It's always going to look better. And when you're applying color, this is just the way to do it. Pinch your brush and drag it to the center. Pinch your brush until you get all that water and color off, and drag it to the center. And let's add just a little more of this brown in here. And then we'll add a little blue just under here for a little shadow, like this. And then something decorative. So we'll just make, you guys, me and my lines, me and my stripes. And really, that's all you have to do. We're just kind of putting this color on, leaving those little white spaces, and you know, it's good. We're good to go. All right, so now let's add our florals in here, and we're going to use this little guy. So let me just make sure that's clean. Got a little baby wipe over here. Who knows what color this was last time? So, you know, I'm not very good at cleaning my stamps after I use them, so I always have to, you know, just do a test and make sure. All right, so we're going to make this one yellow. So we're going to use the 993, and we're going to just color the little blooms yellow. And you know what? Before we do that, we need to mask off the pot. So we're going to do this, and we're going to just put the mask right here along the edge so that we know where the pot ends. So we don't end up with florals and vines clear out here. So we can see exactly where we have to put everything. So yellow, and then green. So this is the 177 green. This is the warmer green. And I didn't even ink the whole stem because it's all going in the pot, so it's not going to matter. And then we're going to stamp it, you know, a few times, just like this. And then I'm going to just clean it off. And I'm going to do the yellow again. The yellow is pretty bright, or pretty light. So we're just going to get this yellow on here again, just like that. And then I'm going to hit it with a little bit of the orange. So the 933. So just going to hit it one time with some orange. And then let's do this one. And same thing with this one. We're going to just kind of mark that area that we have. And we're going to do this one in the red. So now I need to clean this off. Make sure this is all cleaned off with the baby wipe. And then we're going to do the red blooms. And then the green, the little green stems. And this one is just going to be out here, and just hit it, you know, a couple of times. And if you need to do it again, you can do it again. Okay, now you can see that I didn't get enough grass on here. So I just had it too low. To avoid that, use your stamp positioner, of course, but you can always come in with the little grass. So with this little grass, you can always come in with this and add it. And you just put it in like this. You just tap it in like that. Same with this one over here. You can kind of guess, or you can mask off your pot to just make sure. So we're gonna do the light color first. And then we'll go to the red, and I'm just dabbing. And then we'll get to the green. And you want to kind of keep those grasses inside the pot, so don't drag that green outside that pot. How cute is that? So let's zoom out a little bit. And we see that things are coming together here. Isn't that just a cute combination? Mary says, I'm still working on the pumpkins. Mary, take your time. Take your time because, you know, it's not good to rush. And this is supposed to be relaxing, you guys. This is supposed to be just so relaxing and fun. I'm going to add, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. I'm going to add a little more orange to my yellow flowers. But yeah, this is supposed to be fun. So you just take your time, and then you can always keep following and hit pause. And now what do I do with my, oh, here it is, my brush. And come back to it. And you know what? I think I'm just going to get a little more red in here too. I just want this really to be bright. So let's just get a few more little red blooms in here. And then just, you know, kind of be careful that you're not using a brush stroke. You know, you want to see these little individual blooms because they're so cute. And then we'll just keep getting this little shadow here. Little shadow back in there. Okay, so now let's get our background done. And I'm going to put in some sky just so that we have that done. And I'm going to use this 565 up here, all of this blue, and I'm just going to brush it in. But I'm not going to come down too far because I want to get my little trees in. So I'll just kind of make a little cloud line here. And there we go. And we could put just a little bit of blue, kind of where this little path is. You know, depending on how you use this little simple scene, I mean, it could be a little pathway or it could be an actual road. And how cute would it be as snowy? So kind of picture this little barn now with the red roof. And if we left this area open and put a big wreath on it, and we had our little cart here with the tree, the little Christmas tree, snowy, and then more snowy trees back here in the background. And then maybe, what could we have over here? Maybe the mailbox. The mailbox would be really cute right here. And even if you didn't have anything here, you could just have snow, and maybe you have a little ivy, you know, with some red berries. This could be so cute. Mary says, I think we need a stamp set called cute. Mary, I will say it enough times for you. So I'm just saying, I will say it enough times, the word cute. I just literally think everything's cute. And especially these things. But wouldn't that be cute to have a Christmas, make this a Christmas scene and then have tons of little sparkly glitter, and you can have a big snowy tree right here too. Sandy, sounds like a future project. You know what, Sandy, now that I've gone through this whole thing, it's going to stay in my mind until I do it. It's going to stay there. So maybe I will do it in the future. And maybe, I mean, we could switch this barn out too, but I haven't used it in so long, but I could see why I loved it. I always loved this barn. And then, you know, new things come out and new structures and new things, and then they just kind of get pushed to the back. And unless you know, purposely go back and find them, but I do that so many times. I go back and find it. I'm like, this is so cute. I absolutely love this barn. And also that it's versatile, that you can take these things off. You could take this, you know, of course, this little section off. And now you've got a much smaller. Marla, you just described the next class. Marla, like I said, this is just going to be in my mind now. So I'm going to see it. I can already see it. I can see the whole thing in my head of how this is going to look. So you know what? It probably is going to be a future class. I can't help it now. Okay, so let's get going. Let's get on here. So we're gonna do these little hedges. So I'm gonna see if I can move this back over so you guys can see. It always helps to see where you're going, you know. Okay, so we're gonna put this white fence in. So we need a lot of color back here. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do all of these little bushes with the same little tree, the little tree that comes in that set. Or you could do it with this tree. So if you use the little tree from that set, so let me just show you. If you use this little tree, you want to ink it and just leave the very tip off. Just leave this little tip off. But you can also use a bigger tree like this one and just leave the tip off. So let me just show you. You can use either, whichever one you have. And I'm using the warmer green. So now I want it kind of this time. Now this one, the tree kind of came over in front of the barn. I don't want that to happen this time. So I'm going to just use a piece of masking tape and kind of avoid that problem. I want these trees to kind of look set back from the barn so that the fence comes forward. So I'm just going to ink about half of this little tree, and then I'm going to just stamp it in here just like this. And don't worry about the bottom. Don't worry about anything that's going on the bottom. Now I'm going to clean it off, and I'm going to do the orange one. So same thing here with the orange one. And I'm just kind of guessing where these are going. And then I'm going to clean it off. And now I'm going to do the red. And remember, you've got a mask here. So if you stamp over the top, it's totally fine. This is such a cute background anyway for fall, because you've got all these like cute colors. Just such cute colors. And you can drag this color up, so you can make this tree a little bit bigger if you want to. And then the red, so bright and so cute, and you can kind of drag it into the yellow and make this just really cute looking hedge. And now we're going to just take some green. So I'm going to kind of turn this over. I think we're done with these colors for the most part. So I'm going to add some green onto my palette. And this is the 177. Are you gifting? Yep, I'm gifting it. Yes, Dolly. Yes, so be sure to put that in the comments. And you will be in the drawing. All right, so we're just going to take a little bit of this green, and we're just going to run it underneath these little shrubs. Just like this. Just kind of run that right underneath there. We're going to do the same with this over here. Just kind of in this section right here. And then the same over here. And you can kind of see we're just kind of following these little hills here. And then this is pretty dark. These colors are pretty dark. So they're going to stamp right over the top of everything here. All right, so let's take this off. So now I've got my tree tucked behind my barn where it belongs. And now I can put my fence kind of right in front of these. All right, so let's do the little border. And this is it. Let me just make sure it's stamped off and clean. This is always, you know, the way that this is why my thumb just gets to be so inked up, is because I just use it to clean my stamps. All right, so we're going to use some multiple colors in here, and I'm going to just start with the orange, you know, and I'll just kind of get the bottom with the orange, and then maybe we'll add some red, kind of red in here, and see what we get. Because I have no idea what colors I used in here, but I know I used multiple colors. So we're going to just ink this, and I don't see any orange in here. So what happened? So let's go back over it, and let's get the orange in. Okay, here we go. And we're just going to kind of keep stamping that, you know, as we go. So let's add some more orange in here, and a little bit more of the red. And we're going to do the same thing kind of over here. And just kind of keep stamping it on top of itself. Just like that. And you can go a little bit higher too if you want to. So you could get a little bit more of this red in here, maybe kind of in the background. You could ink a little bit more of this one kind of back here. And now we're just going to add some water to it and let it do its thing, its magic. And same over here. So whatever color you want the majority of it to be, you know, if you want it mostly red or yellow, yellow would also be really cute with orange. And then, of course, we're going to add our white paint in. How cute is that? All right, so I'm going to add just a little bit more of the green kind of in this area as it kind of comes around the bend here. And then we're going to add a little bit underneath just to give us a little shadow underneath these little hedges, bushes. And we'll kind of do the same over here. And you could also add your little grasses in. So you could put a little of this just right underneath these little hedges too. Just kind of like that. And back here too. And you can kind of just drag them out. Just to get a little more texture in here. And then let's just darken. This is just that blue. Let's just kind of darken this a little bit here as it kind of comes around the corner. Okay, now let's put some grass here by this little cart, and you know what, you guys, I think we're ready for our white paint. So let's add some grass in here. What is the best way to be a landscaper? No physical labor involved. Oh, this is the best way, Melissa. 1000% yes. And you know, I am not an outdoor like gardening type person. I don't like the bees buzzing around me. I don't like dirt. And so for me, this is the best way to landscape. I get it. I 100% get it. But I just, you know, admire those people who are just have such a green thumb, and they can just grow anything. And all those things just don't seem to bother them. You know, things buzzing around their head, that doesn't seem to bother them at all. Julie, love the fall colors. Me too. Me too. Love them. Okay. So let me just do a little bit more with my twin tone. Just get this kind of dark around here. Okay. I'll just put a little dark line right there just to kind of enhance that. Melissa says, don't have a green thumb. Me neither. You know what? I think you can probably learn, but I think the people who are really, really good, they just are. I think they just are naturally really good at it. Amy quote from Bonnie. I don't like dirt. I don't like it in my fingernails. Like I'm not comfortable outside, put it that way. But Phil is. He loves the outside. He's got a huge garden, you know, all kinds of fruit trees and stuff. And I just, you know, have at it. My domain is on the inside and his is kind of on the outside. So that's kind of where we are. But I do love eating this stuff from the garden. I mean, I 100% like that. Okay, let's put those tall trees in the background and let's do our fence with the white paint. And I think, you guys, we might be done with this. So let me get my dark brown. And I'm just doing the tops because I don't want to stamp this right over all these really pretty bright colors. So I'm just going to do the top and just kind of guess where that tree is going to go in the background. And then I'll just maybe put one over here and a few back here. And there we go. Okay, do you guys see anything that I missed? Peggy says, love outside, but allergic to bee stings. Oh, and they bomb me as they seem to know. You know, it feels like the yellow jackets are getting more aggressive. And I think they do towards the end of the summer. But the wasps' nests and just all of that. Marianne says, can I brag? Won first place in our city for my gardens. Oh my goodness, Marianne. I wish you could just post a picture. Okay, so Marianne, how much time do you spend in your garden during the day? I mean, how much work are these? Elaine, thank you so much. Elaine, that was so encouraging. I love the bright colors too. And Elaine is from Oregon, so she's seeing all the bright colors like I am right now. Okay, so let's take the mask off, and then we're gonna do our little fence. So the big reveal. This is always the fun part when the mask comes off. And erase the lines. So erase all of these lines off of here. And it looks so much more like a painting when you do that. Take all of these little extra things off. Make sure everything is dry before you do this though. Okay, there we go. So now let's get our white paint out. And I'm gonna use my bigger brush. Maybe I should use my small brush. Maybe I'll start with the small brush, and if I need to, I'll go to the bigger one. So I'm getting my little brush wet, and then I didn't pinch it off. I just put it right into my white paint because I want to get it pretty thin so I can do that fence. So you want to get the majority of that paint off of there, and you're using the really fine tip. And you know, you're going to just make posts. You know, and these are kind of coming down a hill a bit. Like so. And then just kind of load your brush up again and get the extra paint off, and we'll make the little crossbars on here. And if you notice that they're kind of showing through a little bit, just go over it again. That just means that your paint is too thin. You've got your paint too thin. But if you do another coat, you're totally fine. And then the little crossbars that go on here. This just changes the whole composition too, doesn't it? Isn't that so cute? I just love that white fence. And now I just always put in just, you know what, some little white, you know, flowers kind of in the grass. Just kind of all around in here. And then, you know, a few in here, just kind of to brighten up these little pots. You know, adding that white in here just kind of brightens it all up. And then if you you can put a little accent line on here that will also just kind of brighten it up. Same with the pumpkins. Just put a little accent on here. You can kind of make these stems a little more rustic just by kind of dragging a little white paint on them. Just like that. You can add a little highlight to the edge of the roof. And then we're going to make this little door frame just by adding that white in there. So let's get a little more paint. we're just going to make a little cross piece. Like so. And I don't think we really need anything up here. We've got enough highlights now in the roof. And I think we're good. I think we're good on everything else. Okay. We're finished, you guys. We did it. Got my brush all cleaned out. And the lid back on my white paint. And then I just need to sign it. There we go. Now let's see if it looks like the other one. You know, they never look the exact same. Nope, they're just a little different. Look at my fence. My fence is a little different orientation, but it's still, it still looks the same. Hello, Harriet. Okay, you guys, I'm going to switch my camera back over. First, though, I want to just remind you about the throwback. You still have until tomorrow at midnight. And here is what it is. So this is the throwback set. It's these little critters right here. The Critter Carolers 5971. Here's the project we did yesterday, so you can catch that tutorial. Here is the free gift, the little birds. This is the one that you get free with your purchase. So if you buy the throwback, you're going to get the little birds as well. So there are the two projects that we did. You can catch that tutorial from yesterday's live. Those two, and then where is the little hedgehog? So here is the promo one that we released. So these are released with the throwback. This is one that we had as a promo stamp for a free as a free gift for a certain amount of purchase. And so these three things are available. This is available on our website. This is free with the throwback. And these are all three available until tomorrow at midnight. Also, at the same time, we released the art glitter glue. So we've got this glue now. This is like the absolute best. Comes with a tiny little fine tip. I literally use this for everything. So we used it so much that we decided, let's just put it on our website. So it's on our website now. If you absolutely need this, you can get it on our website. So that's available right now, the art glitter glue throwback until Thursday. And of course, all of these stamps are available on our website too. So I hope you guys give this project a try. I'm gonna just switch back over so I can say goodbye to all of you. Where is my camera? Okay, back and to say hi and goodbye and tell you happy fall. So I hope you guys will give this project a try. It really was a fun one. Might have been one of my favorites actually. So I hope you guys give it a shot. You can substitute things out. You know, there are other things that you can use. So really it's the combination of things just to give you an idea of how to put a scene together. And then, you know, your imagination is, you know, can just go crazy. So Elaine, you are so welcome. Hello, Vicki. Yes, fun week. Lots to learn. Good. I'm glad you feel that way. I always want to teach you something when you tune in and we do a project together. So have a great rest of your day, you guys. Have a great rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you back again next week for Watercolor Wednesday.